Hi guys, and welcome to a very incredibly special seminar on how to attract a 10. Now you may notice, if you've been tuning in recently, that everything looks a little bit different here. Just a little bit different in terms of the setup. That's because all of my team are currently on vacation, except for Stephen. And so we're doing it here, just a couple of us with a skeleton crew, just to make sure that we're bringing you some of the very best tips to move into the new year with. Now, I know it being Christmas and New Year and everything, there's a lot of people that can be very busy and they may not have the time to actually tune into this live, and they might be watching it as a pre-record. However, for those of you that are here live, I need your help. In order to give you the best information possible and to make sure that you get the best out of this seminar, where I'm going to break down exactly what it takes to pick up, attract, and have sex with a perfect 10, you need to be giving me feedback. I need to know that the advice I'm giving you makes sense, that you understand it, and that it works. So in order to do that, I need to be talking to those of you who are watching it live. So if you're watching this live right now, do me a favor and just say hello to Stephen. That way Stephen can get an idea of how many people are being reactive to him and how many people are talking to him, and Stephen can keep an eye on the questions and make sure that we're interacting. So there is a bit of a delay. So I said it probably about a minute ago for you. So in a second, you guys should all start having hi Stevens appearing, and Stephen should be saying hi to you. Stephen, do me a favor. Let me know if once you're getting hi Stevens, if people are coming through. Okay, all right, cool. So it's a pretty small group right now watching it live, but let's make sure we get at least a couple of hi Stevens for those of you guys that are actually watching it. So moving into the new year, a lot of people are like, I don't even know how to get a girlfriend. How to get a perfect 10 is just like so far beyond me. And I'm reminded of this amazing picture. I wish I could just like bring up a picture. We've got to find out a way to do that, because I'd love to just show him a picture I found on the internet. Actually, Stephen, you'll appreciate this. I feel like I'm going to start talking to Stephen. Stephen should have a camera, really, so we could like talk to each other. And there's this beautiful scene of all these really, really hot girls on a boat on a lake. Have you seen this one, Stephen? It's like a picture of all these hot chicks. There's all these hot chicks on a boat. And the comment is, whenever you see a picture like this, just remember who owns the boat. And then it's a picture of a whole bunch of big fat Greek guys. And it always makes me laugh, because guys think the reason they can't get a 10 is because they're not good looking enough, or they don't look like Brad Pitt, and they're like, so I'm never going to get a girl like that. But the reality is, girls will go for guys even if they don't look good. And then the next argument I always get is, yeah, well, those guys are rich, so that's why they get the girls. And then I'm like, okay, but if they have to be rich, then what about all the good-looking guys that don't have money to get girls? And they're like, okay, we have to be good-looking or rich. I'm like, okay, what about all the musicians and poets and these like artistic kind of guys who don't have any money? Aren't really that good looking. They kind of smell bad because they don't really wash very often, and yet they've got really, really hot girls. How are they doing it? And the point is, there's always an excuse, right? It's always like, yeah, well, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have the other. You don't have to have everything. You don't have to be rich, you don't have to be good looking, you don't have to be talented, you don't have to have absolutely everything, but you need to have a certain something. And we're going to talk about what that something is and why all of those people have it, and how come the new year, it's something you can get too. Stephen, are we getting hello Stevens? Is there? No one's saying hello Stephen. Guys, come on, you're watching this live. We know there's a bunch of you watching it. Give some hellos. And the reason why this is so important is because I'm going to be asking questions for you guys, and I want your feedback to make sure you understand exactly what it is that I'm teaching, that what I'm explaining to you. So for those of you guys that are watching this live, do it. Say hi. Say hi to Stephen right now. Don't just leave this on in the background and be like, oh, I'll watch it afterwards, because you're going to miss out on an awesome opportunity to ask your questions live and have me answer them directly. So when you want to attract a 10, when you're moving into the new year, the most important things for you to consider are what it means to be a 10. And now this is something that most guys don't ever think about, right? You're just thinking about what you want. You're thinking about the kind of like girls that you're going to be having sex with. And trust me, if you want to have sex with a 10, you need to be able to think like a 10. You need to be able to understand what it is that makes them decide to have sex with somebody else. You see, a 10 isn't going to give you sex. She's not going to be like, oh, you know what? You deserve to have sex with a 10 today, so I'm going to give it to you. Because a 10 doesn't often think of themselves as a 10. The kind of girl that thinks of herself as a 10 is usually an 8, by the way. If she's going around being like, oh my God, I'm so hot, she's not a 10, she's an 8. A true 10 doesn't often think of themselves as a 10. They're very humble, and mostly they're just concerned that other people are trying to hurt them or take things from them. So they're very protective. They keep to themselves, they move in their own small circles. And so I want you to imagine, to get an idea of what it's like to be a 10, just imagine that you win the lottery tomorrow. And you win the lottery and think how many people are going to start contacting you and want to be your friend. How many people are going to want to hang out with you and do things with you. And you're going to wonder, do they want me or do they want my money? Do they want the fact that I've just won the lottery? And a 10 is thinking exactly the same thing. Oh, you're looking at me expected. Did we get some hellos?
Oh, yeah, we got a few.
All right, okay, that's good. All right, so there's a bunch of guys saying hello. Good, thank you guys. It's important because what I'm going to do is every so often I'm going to pause and say, did you understand that concept? Do you need me to explain it further? And that's going to let me know whether I need to stop or move on. So actually, let's do that right now. Do you guys understand this concept of what it means to feel like to have won the lottery and then to doubt whether people want you or want the fact that you've won the lottery, and so you don't really know who likes you? And this is what it means to be a 10. A 10 is a very hot girl who has gone through life with people trying to have sex with her just to say they had sex with a 10. They're not thinking of who she is. They're not thinking, oh my God, that's Gemma. They're thinking, oh my God, it's a 10. And they're like, I really want to have sex with a 10, not I really want to have sex with Gemma. And the worst thing is guys will say stuff like, oh yeah, I don't just like you because you're hot. I like you for your brains. It's like, but there's no detail in that. How does she know you don't just like her for the fact that she's got a hot body? I like you for your brain. What about the brain do you like? Like, do you like how mushy it feels? Do you like the size of her skull shape? What is it that you like about her? You don't know because you didn't tell her. Or more importantly, maybe you do know, but you didn't tell her. If you like somebody for something, you don't say, I don't like you for your looks or just for your looks. You actually engage them in the conversation you like. For example, one of my favorite women that I had sex with years and years ago, who was an incredible 10, one of her favorite things to discuss is human psychology. And I was massively attracted to her for the fact that we would spend 3 to 4 hours sitting over dinner discussing human psychology. We'd have long, in-depth talks about psychology through history and about how different time periods may have affected. We spoke about the Mayans and how it's very plausible that the early Mayan kings who were sun gods actually were just astronomers, or at least had a friend who was an astronomer that taught them about things like the eclipse, so they could pretend to trigger an eclipse to make it seem like they had this otherworldly powers. We would have these big debates about that. I didn't need to tell her I was attracted to her mind. I didn't need to tell her that, I wasn't just attracted to her physically, because she knew, because we sat down and had these long, interesting conversations about topics that she loved. And the skill that I told you that I'm going to share with you by the end of this talk is something to do with that. It's something to do with understanding that kind of psychology. I'll explain it all to you throughout this. But I just want to know, do you understand this concept about what it means to be a 10? Do you get the idea that people might just want something from you and that you don't feel like they really want you for who you are? If you understand this concept, just say yes. Let Stephen know so I know that I can move on. If you don't understand, please let me know what's missing. Let me know what part of this you don't understand so I can elaborate on it a little bit further. This particular 10 that I'm talking about is a very good friend of mine, and she's actually a professional porn star, which is like one of my favorite things about this girl. So you can imagine how many men were trying to sleep with this woman. I mean, she's got 250,000 followers on Twitter. She's talking about porn star Twitter. Amazing. So it's what happens if you teach first thing in the morning. You say what you think. She would get a crack out of that, by the way. She'd be laughing. On Twitter, she's got 250,000 followers on Twitter, and you got all these guys that are desperate to have sex with her, and they're constantly like, oh my God, you're so beautiful, you're so this. And they don't know that her favorite things to discuss are human psychology, which is one of my favorite topics. And what's incredible about this woman being a porn star is there's so many guys that want to get with her. And the irony is she'll pretty much sleep with anyone that she's attracted to. You don't need to be anything particularly special. I've seen some of her ex-boyfriends. They're not beautiful pictures of perfect physique, although some of them are. I mean, some of the guys she's dated have a 13-inch dick and they're built like Arnold Schwarzenegger. But the point is, she's not with them just because of that. She's with them because there's this other quality they have, this quality that I'm going to share with you that you need to develop. And it's all about understanding what makes a 10 want to sleep with you, not how do I trick a 10 into sleeping with me. I didn't trick this girl. I didn't manipulate her. We just became very good friends, and it was from a cold approach. I was walking past a coffee shop. I saw her and a bunch of other girls sitting down in a coffee shop together. I walked up. I started talking to them through the window of the coffee shop, got inside, sat down with one of my students, and we sat there for like 5 hours. And ironically, all the girls were porn stars. They were all beautiful. It was during the AVN, which is like the porn star awards in Las Vegas, and we're sitting down. I'm talking to all these girls, And then I bring up the concept of psychology and we start talking about it, and she suddenly, boom, she's like super interested and wants to talk to me. She wants to discuss this deep subject that I've spent years learning and understanding. And that was where the attraction built. Everybody else disappeared, they got bored, they wanted to wander, but me and her sat and we spent the entire night talking about psychology. And then we ended up in bed together and we ended up having awesome sex, and it was all because of that one simple fact that, that I had that quality that she was looking for that made her want to have me. And we're going to talk about how you can develop that quality. Does everybody understand it so far, Stephen? They were saying that? Yes. Anyone not understand it? Anyone like, what the fuck? Nope. Okay, good. That's great. So like I said, today's going to be a little bit more chill, but we are going to talk about this very important subject, and hopefully you guys are going to get to understand it. So, everyone's like, well, how do I get a 10? How do I get a 10? How do I get a 10? It's very easy to attract a girl who is of your level. So I want you to imagine that, that there aren't 10 levels, because realistically numbers are irrelevant, right? There are no numbers. It's just who you are, and you've got people above you and you've got people below you, and that's basically how it works. And the irony is, the people above you aren't actually above you, and the people below you aren't actually below you. It's just perception. If you go back X amount of years, having a curvy figure was attractive. You go X amount of years before that, having a stick-thin figure was attractive, and so on and so forth. What is physically attractive changes throughout the time. So it's not about physical looks. It's about something else. It's all about the perception of where we are. Let me explain. You've probably heard don't put a girl on a pedestal. But I want to explain why you should never put a girl on a pedestal, because at this point it becomes very important. Let's just say you meet a girl and she's not a 10 and she's not an 8 and she's not a number, she's just a girl, and you decide that she's perfect. For whatever reason, she's perfect. Maybe she's got the kind of hair you want, maybe she does the kind of martial art you like, I don't know, whatever it is, she's perfect. The minute you've decided she's perfect, you just put her on a pedestal. She's now on a pedestal. Not because she's a perfect 10, not because she put herself there. You put her there by deciding she's perfect. Because she's not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Everyone has flaws. But by you deciding she's perfect, you've put her on a pedestal. Now there's an amazing phrase, I think it's in the Bible, it's like, judge not lest ye be judged yourself. Is that the phrase? It feels like that's a Bible phrase. It might be. But it's this wonderful phrase, and the reason I love it is because it actually works. But people get it wrong. They always assume I judge you to be weak, therefore maybe I'm weak. That's not really what it means. It just means that the minute you make a judgment about somebody, they instantly have the opportunity to judge you back. It's literally how it works. So once you decide someone's perfect, they get to decide what they think about you. And if they analyze you and they see that you think they're perfect, then by default, they think you're imperfect. Because if you were also perfect, you wouldn't look at them as being perfect because you would see their flaws. See, when a 10 wakes up in the morning and she looks in the mirror, she doesn't go, wow, I'm amazing. She sees acne, she sees flaws, she has to cover it with makeup, she sees the fact that she's 2 years older than she was 2 years before, and therefore she's put on weight since then, and she doesn't fit into her jeans that she ripped a week ago. She sees the flaws, she sees all the things that are wrong in her body, all the things that make her unattractive. If any of you wonder why I sort of like slowly lean back every so often, it's because this chair is one of those spinning, reclining chairs, and so every time I put any weight backwards, I just slowly shrink out of the camera. Which is kind of, sorry, but I'm distracted. I really shouldn't teach this early in the morning. But the point is that these women, they don't see themselves as being perfect. So if you see them as perfect, they know you're wrong. They instantly know you're wrong because they know they're not perfect. Therefore, you are imperfect and therefore you are below them. So ironically, the minute you even think that a girl's perfect, the minute you're like, this girl's a 10, she knows you're not. And so therefore, you are below her level, and therefore she's out of your league. And this happens every single time. I can't tell you how many guys I've met that will date a very, very hot girl, break up with her, feel really bad, try and get another girl, decide that the other girl isn't as hot as their girlfriend, but she's perfect because she doesn't have any of the flaws that their girlfriend had, and they can't get her. And they're like, I don't get it. This girl isn't as hot as my girlfriend was, and yet I can't get her. And I'm like, it's all because you have decided that she's perfect, and therefore it's unobtainable to you because you put her up on that pedestal. So when you're going to attract a 10, when you're going to attract a girl that's really hot, it's very good to get it in your head when you first look at them to start spotting the flaws. Now, guys get this bit wrong. They don't just see the flaws, they say them. That's not good. You don't want to be sitting there pointing out flaws. Now, somebody's going to be like, what about negging? I think negging's a thing where you find a girl's flaw and you point it out to her face. No, that's not a good thing to do because it just makes her associate feeling bad with you, right? So if you hang out with a really hot girl and she's, I don't know, what can we say? She's kind of clumsy. Let's just say that's like her negative quality is she's clumsy. And if you're like, there's two ways to handle it. There's like, oh my God, no, I love girls that are clumsy. That's really attractive. Okay, you're putting her on a pedestal. Stop. It's not attractive. It's not attractive when she knocks over a coffee and spills it down herself. It isn't. That's unattractive. But also, it's not good to pick on it. It's not good to be like, oh my God, you're so clumsy. I can't believe that. Wow, you'd be perfect if you weren't clumsy. No, that's not good either, because you're basically saying that, that she's flawed and that there's a problem and you're sticking it in her face. You don't want to rub it in her face, but you need to see it. Whenever I see a girl, the very first thing I do is I try and list 3 or 4 flaws in my head about her. What that does is it just levels the playing field. I look in the mirror every day and I tell myself, the things that I need to improve upon, the things that I'm not that happy with, and every time I meet somebody else, I do exactly the same thing. And what it does is it just levels it out in my head. I'm like, okay, you know what? We're all imperfect. And this is the first step to attracting a 10. So I want to make sure everyone's with me so far. See if that makes sense. Do you see how that could benefit you? If you do, say yes. I want to hear some yeses. If you don't understand, if you're like, I don't get it, that sounds terrible, again, let me know, and that will let me know how to tweak things. Stephen, are we getting any questions so far? Is anyone asking anything? Is anyone? Cool. Is that should be better, I think. Should have resolved that problem. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you pointing that out to us. Our battery changer is on vacation. You see what happens? Christmas holidays, everyone disappears. There's no one to officially change the batteries. That's my excuse. I'm sticking to it, by the way. So the idea of peacocking is to do something to stand out. But people took it crazy. Back in the early 2000s, they would do all these wear these crazy hats and crazy feather boas and things. And yes, it was a good excuse for women to come and talk to them, but it also started off the conversation on a negative. And you had to turn that around. They added an hour, 2 hours to the entire interaction where you had to get the girl over the fact that you look weird. Especially nowadays, people know that as being pickup artistry, and so it doesn't really connect anymore. However, you can still use the concept of peacocking without looking weird, and that's just to wear something to make you stand out. The problem is, a lot of guys wear the same thing to stand out. They're like, I'm going to wear a graphic t-shirt and a fedora with a blazer over it. But everybody wears a graphic t-shirt with a fedora and a blazer over it, so you don't stand out. In fact, you do stand out. You stand out as somebody who is attempting to attract women but doesn't. I like to find small little private designers that nobody else uses, and I buy my clothes from them. So this is from a Korean designer. I order my stuff online, I get it sent to me, and this is how I dress when I'm not sort of like working. When I'm working, I'm always in a shirt and pants or jeans or what have you. But whenever I am out on my own or I'm with family, I often wear my clothes from my Korean designer, and that's great because if I go out to pick up chicks in a bar, I dress like this, and girls like, oh my god, I really like that top. It really stands out. It looks like you're wearing a backpack, but you're not. Or whatever it is that they say, and it just helps them remember me. I'm not the guy in the blue shirt and the white pants. I'm the guy with the backpack that's missing, and they remember me, and that makes it easy for them to keep talking. So there we go, peacocking. Speaking of which, Stephen, did you steal my backpack? Okay, good. So the point is when you're trying to attract the 10, you're trying to come across or to level the playing field, to get them to treat you the same way that you're treating them. Does everyone understand this, by the way? Are we good on that? I lost track. Good? Okay, cool. So you're trying to get it so that in your head, they're just a person. They're not hot, they're not attractive. And what that does is that removes the who's in whose league. They're just another person. For all they know, you're a multi-millionaire. You've got a 15-inch dick. They don't know anything about you. So you can approach it like you're a millionaire with a 15-inch dick without saying, hey, I'm a millionaire and I've got a 15-inch dick. You just talk to them like they're a normal person, assuming in your own mind that you're somebody who attracts a girl. And the only thing that is going to throw that off, the only thing that's going to prove a disconnect to that is, well, two things. Is one, if you don't believe it. So if you go in there and you're still nervous or you're still worried, that's going to throw it off, which is why if you're going to go and attract a 10, you really need experience. But the other thing is her body language reading of you. If she looks at you and you don't act congruent with how a 10 would act, then the whole thing falls apart. Now, I'm going to teach you this one thing that you need that will stop that from happening. There is one specific thing that you can develop that will prevent a girl from feeling that incongruence, or prevent her from feeling like, there isn't actually a connection between the two of you, and that, you're not on her level. There's one thing you can do that you have to do. It's what the rich guy, the good-looking ripped guy, the musician, myself, it's what we all have in common. There's one quality that makes it very easy for us to attract the 10. Before I say it, I'm going to ask you, what do you think that quality is? So take a moment, write it in the box. If you're watching this on the replay, take a moment, get pen and paper, and just try and list out what you think it is, because this is going to tell me whether you know what it takes to be a 10. There's one quality you have to have that all 10s around the world have. Everybody, and again, the numbers don't really exist. So what we're really talking about is, somebody who is attractive. There is one quality that all of them have. You might think it's pre-selection. Pre-selection is a side effect of it. When you have this quality, you will often get pre-selection. So pre-selection isn't the quality that we're talking about. It's one of the reasons it works, because if you have this core quality, then you get pre-selection, and then lots of other women want you, yes. But there is one quality you need to have first. And so I want to see how many of you know that. We'll see what comes in. When you start getting answers, Stephen, sort of like give me a wave and let me know. Right. If you was that the wave? No. It looked like a wave. You were like, got it. And I was like, oh, great, give me one. But no one knows. Okay, confidence. Okay, is confident one of the things? Well, it's not, so keep answering, but we will discuss whether it is confidence or not for a moment. The reason it's not confidence is because, once again, confidence is a byproduct of it. If you have this one quality, confidence is something that comes with it. So it kind of works like pre-selection. We know that confidence triggers attraction. We know that pre-selection triggers attraction. Both of them will come if you have this one quality. So we're going to see if you can work out what this one quality is.
The absence of your regard for whether or not you are rejected.
The absence for your regard of whether or not you are rejected. So again, yes, that's a great quality. But it's not the only one. I know a lot of rich guys that do care if they get rejected. I know a lot of good-looking guys that care if they get rejected, and they have sex with 10s all the time. So it's not the only quality, but that quality does come with it. If you are having sex with a lot of girls, you can get to a state where you don't care if you get rejected, because there's always a lot of other girls out there. I myself, at this point in life, reject girls left, right, and center, because I have two wonderful women and I'm very happy with both of them. And there are certain days like today where they tell me they both want to have sex with me separately and then together. And I'm like, holy shit, I've got to have sex 3 times today. And really all I want to do is sit down and paint Dungeons and Dragons miniatures. I don't care how sad that makes me sound. It's the truth. But I know that I'm going to have sex 3 times today, which is going to be very difficult, because I also want to watch the new Star Wars movie for a second time and paint miniatures. You see, it's tough. So the point is, if any other girl tries to approach me or tries to talk to me today, I'm going to be like, fuck off. So yeah, I really don't have that fear of getting rejected. It makes my life easier if girls reject me, because then I don't have to reject them. But the point is, it's a byproduct of this other quality. So any other new guesses?
Being the prize.
Being the prize. So being the prize, Again, that's one of those things that people say, like that you've probably read it online, you've probably heard someone say it. Very few people knows what that actually means. They don't know how to be the prize. It's also not a useful phrase to help somebody. You know, if my son comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, Dad, how do I pick up chicks in school?" And I'm like, "Just be the prize." He's like, "Oh, great." And off he goes to be the prize. Right? It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't give you any action steps. I'm talking about something very specific, something that I have, that the rich guy has, that the musician has who's got no money, and the good-looking guy has that's got money, or doesn't have money, it doesn't matter. There's something we all have that will enable us to be the prize, but it won't necessarily mean we are the prize. It will enable us to be more confident, but it won't necessarily, it's not the confidence that gave us that, it's the other way around. And it gives us pre-selection, it gives you the ability to not scared about being rejected, although some people just never develop that skill. What is it? What is this one thing? And the fact that, by the way, the fact that none of you guys just know what this is, the fact that it's not like, and you're all putting it in the feed, shows me that you really do need to learn this, because you don't know it. And most people don't. They don't know what it truly takes to have a 10. That's because they haven't slept with them. You know, I've slept with celebrities, I've slept with porn stars, I've slept with actresses, I've slept with, just hot models, I've slept with, hot girls in general. And every single time I've had a girl that someone's like, "Wow, that's a 10, I'm like, it's a cool girl, it's a hot girl. I think, different people have told me at different points that each of my girlfriends is a 10, but the other one isn't. I can't, that always makes me laugh. Like people will be like, "Oh, the brunette's a 10, but the blonde's not." Or I've had people be like, "Oh, the blonde's a 10, but the brunette's like an 8 at best." Like I have people like do this all the time, and it's because numbers are subjective, right? It's whatever you perceive. I personally think both my girlfriends are 10. I love them both. They're both perfect, but I see both their flaws. But the reason they're attracted to me is for this quality that I have. This quality that by the end of this, I'm going to tell you what it is. You're going to know what it is. You're going to be able to develop it. But I do want to see what people's answers are. What we got?
A few more.
Yeah, go for it. I want to hear them.
With all of them, or your...
Yeah, let's go through the different ones.
Okay, passion.
Passion one of them? Passion is part of it. Passion is part of it. You're close. Passion is definitely part of it. Being passionate is a very attractive quality. When women can see that you're passionate, they know that you're driven, that you want to achieve something, and that is definitely an attractive quality. Passion's part of it. You're almost there. Let's see what other people have. Ambition. I'd put ambition and passion together. You guys are getting better answers now. You're starting to get it. Passion and ambition. In a minute, I'm going to ask you guys a question based on this. In fact, you can start answering it now. Would you describe yourself as passionate and ambitious? If the answer is yes, right, yes, I'm passionate and ambitious about, and then put whatever it is that you are passionate and ambitious about. If you are not, right, no, I'm not passionate or ambitious. This is a big, important factor. You do need to be passionate or ambitious about something, but it's like half the puzzle. There's another puzzle piece missing. Go for it. What else? Integrity. Nope, unfortunately, integrity should be. Integrity should be the quality, but it isn't. A girl will be more than happy to have sex with a guy who is a complete lying scumbag. And it doesn't really matter. They'd rather not, but it doesn't really matter. They'll still suck his dick. Go for it. What else you got? Enthusiasm. It's just another passion, ambition word, guys. Again, we're getting back to that point, right, where that's why I said it's only half the puzzle piece. My son comes up to me, "Hey, Dad, how do I attract women in school?" I can't be like, "Be ambitious." He's like, "Okay, got it. I'm going to go enjoy the volleyball league." Although that would probably help a bit. But it's not the key factor. There's something else about it.
Making your flaws not apparent.
Making your flaws not apparent. Nope, that's terrible. Flaws are like one of the number one ways to attract a girl. If I'm like dating a girl and I can feel that she's kind of like getting bored, I will tell her something really flawed about myself. And I can't tell you how much it works. Women have this like mothering instinct that kicks in. Stephen, you know what I'm talking about, right? You've seen this? Yeah, it's killer. Like my son, so I've got 2 children. One of my sons, he's born with a genetic defect. It sucks for him. He has to have medicine every single day or he'll drop in a coma and die. I said, do you know how often he's going to get laid off that? It's insane. How many times my son's going to be able to, be hanging out with a girl and he can't drink alcohol ever? Do you know that's going to be a thing? He can never drink alcohol because of this thing. So he's going to be at a bar and he's going to order a water and the girl's going to be like, "Why are you drinking a water? You're a designated driver?" And he's like, "No, you wouldn't understand." And then she'll be like, "What do you mean I wouldn't understand?" He goes, "It's okay. I can already tell you've made judgments. And there are some people like that. You just wouldn't get it." She goes, No, try me. I don't understand." He's like, "Well, I was born with this genetic disorder. And if I take alcohol, literally within 24 hours, I could be dead." She's like, "Oh my God, what is?" And it's over. At that point, it's over. She's invested. She wants to know the story, and he can just use it. And he's going to get laid off that so many times. It's like, yeah, it sucks. It's like a genetic disorder, but at the same time, it's a genetic disorder that's going to get you laid. Like, I don't know. It's arguable how bad it is. Don't just say that on camera. Who cares? All right, keep going. What else? Do you have some other answers for people?
People are saying that they're passionate and ambitious.
passionate and ambitious.
No, that's what they're saying that they are. 'Cause
That they are. Okay, that's good. You guys are. Good. I like that. And we're going to talk about that in a second. We're going to talk about how you can use that passion and ambition to get tens. If that's what do you want to have sex with tens? I'm assuming if you're watching it, that's what you want. But I don't know. I'm assuming that's what you want to get. If you want to have sex with tens, being ambitious and passionate is important. Are they saying what they're ambitious and passionate about?
Yeah, about. It doesn't really make sense for some of them.
Okay, give me the ones that don't make sense. Let's hear this.
Okay, yes, I'm passionate and ambitious about being a field.
I'm passionate and ambitious about being a field. That's interesting. Okay. Wants to be a football field? I don't know, a specific field? Okay, what else?
I'm passionate and ambitious about helping other people and seeing good.
Passionate and ambitious about helping other people. I like that. It's not enough. That's not going to get you laid. That's not what you need. And so like I said, passionate and ambitious isn't enough. It's a thing. It's a step, but it's not the whole way. What else do we have?
That's it.
That's it. Okay. All right. So I said it's partly, right? Passion and ambition is only part of it. Here's what it is. It's one thing. Being excellent. See, a 10 is a 10 because they are excellent at something. There's something about them that's amazing. It's probably physical if you're looking at it. You're probably like, wow, you have excellent tits, or you have an excellent arse, or you have an excellent face, or you have excellent hair. Something physically excellent. Makeup's excellent. Dancing's excellent. Sex is excellent when you watch them in porn. Whatever it is, there's something excellent about them. There's something that makes them at their peak. And whenever you are amazing at a thing, you are at the top of it. And being at the top of it is what it means to be a 10. The reason that most guys never sleep with a 10 is because they're not excellent at anything. They haven't decided to become perfect at any one thing. There's an amazing book that says it takes 5 years to master something. And I believe it takes another 5 years. It's 5 years to get good at something and another 5 years to master it, right? So it's 10 years to fully master something and being an expert. And right now, we're going into 2016, you could think, wow, 10 years is a really long time. But if you're passionate, this is where this comes in, about something, if you're ambitious about something, then it's really not a long time because it's something you just want to do for the rest of your life. For the next 10 years, you want to focus on being very good at this one thing. I often, at the beginning of each year, will pick a thing that I want to be excellent at, and then I, for a year, focus on doing that thing. And then after that, I do the thing casually whenever I want to. So like a few years ago, I decided film was going to be my thing, and for an entire year, I just focused on film. And then during that year, I had some amazing headway, and I made like $250,000 just in making film alone. Nothing to do with dating, nothing to do with pickup. I just built a $250,000 business specifically focused on making film because I decided that's what I wanted to focus on. In my next year, I'm going to focus on advertising. I've already decided this entire year, all I'm going to do is learn advertising. And it's something I want to get good at, and so I'm going to focus on it. By the end of the year, no, I won't be a master, no, I won't be an expert, but I'll be 1 year better off. The thing that I dedicated my life to being good at was dating. I wanted to be incredible. I think I left my phone on. That's so amateur. Could you turn it off, please? Thank you. So the reason this has happened is because the guy in charge of turning my phone off isn't in today because it's vacation. It's fine, that's off, that's good enough, whatever. Who cares, it'll just ring again, doesn't matter. It's fine, Stephen, it's good. So the point is, I've become excellent at a thing. And if you want to truly be attractive and truly get people to want you to be a 10, then you need to be excellent. And if you're excellent at anything, it's attractive. But there is something you can be excellent at that's even better. So for example, for me, the thing I became excellent at was dating and specifically human psychology. So what it means is I can hold down conversations with very intelligent people, like for example, my porn star friend, about this subject, and we can sit down and talk for hours about it because I'm an expert at that and she cares about it. The problem comes if you're an expert at, I don't know, Connect 4. Being an expert at Connect 4 isn't going to help you in life because even though you might be really, really good at playing Connect 4, it's not actually going to help you attract a 10 because ultimately most 10s don't care about Connect 4. Now the reason I'm saying this is Stephen's laughing because Stephen is actually a Connect 4 expert. I don't know why he became a Connect 4 expert, but he did. And what's fascinating is, even though I just said you can't possibly attract 10s with it, Stephen managed to do it to attract 10s. And the reason for this is because if you're an expert at anything, you can use it. Now, I won't say that Stephen's ability to play Connect 4 to attract 10s is something that gets him a 10 every single day of the week. It isn't, because it doesn't directly connect to a 10. If Stephen was, I don't know, the best dancer in the world, it would be a lot easier for him to be having sex with 10s on a regular basis. If Stephen, owned a giant shipping fleet, it would be very easy, and he was the best at shipping in the world. He would be able to attract 10s a lot easier than being the best at Connect 4 because there are only so many people that are interested in Connect 4. But Stephen will almost always find a way to drop Connect 4 into any conversation. And when he does, he'll play a game and he'll beat you very easily. And then he will explain why he's amazing at Connect 4. And then he will teach you how to be amazing at Connect 4. And the minute he gets into that role, he's the leader, he's in charge, he's running things. And of course, he's showing his ambition and passion. And of course, leading somebody, all of these things are very attractive and they're full of attractive qualities. If Stephen wanted to do it really, really well, he would hang out with a group of girls, start teaching them, and then all the girls would gather around him to watch, and he would have pre-selection as well. So he can convert that into an ability to attract tens. And this is all you need. It's so simple, and it sounds difficult. It sounds like, oh, it's so much hard work, but it really isn't, because if it's something you're passionate and ambitious about, then 10 years down the line, you're going to have everything you want, and you're going to make it work very easily for you. Does this make sense? Is anyone confused over anything? Is anybody lost? And more importantly, would you like to learn one very simple thing that you could become ambitious about and to really care about right now? And it would not only make you excellent, not only give you the ability to attract women on a subject that they care about a lot, but it would also make you more physically attractive as well. If this is something you're interested in, please let me know, and I'll make sure that I fill you in on exactly what you can do and what steps you can take in order to do that. Cool. Do we have anybody giving anything else from some of the other questions? I'm just curious.
Yeah. People are saying it makes sense, and they're answering some, the other ones. One guy asked a question. I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do the question. I love questions.
One question is.
Is the question, why do I keep disappearing into my chair into the corner of the screen? I can see it. It's really awkward. All right, cool.
Asks, this is great advice, but what advice do you have for guys at high school and early college to attract tens at school and picking up, chicks at school?
So this guy's question is, how do you use this advice to pick up tens in school? And being completely honest with you, this is the exact same skill set that you'd be using. If you're excellent at something that they care about, they're going to want you. But the trick is being excellent at that one thing. And so that's why the thing that I'm going to talk about in a minute is so important, because I'm going to tell you the one thing that anybody can get excellent at, that it's very easy to get excellent at, and women are going to be drawn to you. It's something that I developed just for the fun of it, and it did me wonders. I've done it twice now. I've done 2 different versions of the same thing, and both times it's just had women like flocking to me faster than almost anything else, with the exception of organizing parties. Organizing parties is best, and if you're in high school, if you can organize the cool party, everyone's going to be after you. Like, imagine if you're the guy throwing literally the most bomb party of the entire fucking school. Do people say bomb anymore? Is that cool? Listen, kid in high school, is it cool to say bomb? I need to know these things. I don't have any teenagers around. You need to teach me these things. I should do a whole class where I just get a bunch of high school kids in, and I'm like, yo, what are cool phrases to say now? Because I need to know. I'm out of touch. Yeah, exactly. A reverse class where all the high school kids teach me what's cool. What should I be looking at? Is Pokemon still cool? I don't know. So the point is, if you're the one that's organizing like the best parties, you're going to have girls come and flocking to you. But there is another skill you can learn, a very easy one. I'm more than willing to share. Do people want to know this thing, or do they not?
Yes, very interesting.
Okay, because sometimes I'm like, do you want to know this thing? And guys like, not really. I kind of just want to do what I want to do. And then I'm like, okay, whatever. All right, so the one skill that you can, I'll tell you what I did. I did 2 things. Both of them worked really, really well. And it just naturally drew women to me. Do you remember I said earlier that hot girls look in the mirror and there's always something about them they don't like? Like I said, I'm sleeping with 2 girls that I consider 10s. I think a lot of guys would consider them 10s. And both of them at different points will look in the mirror and say, oh my God, my butt's too fat, or my butt's too small. Do you know the same girl within a week can say my butt is too fat and my butt is too small? Within 1 week. I've heard both from both women, which is insane. But the point is, they always look at themselves and they think there's something wrong. And so one of the things that I did is I became a yoga instructor. I am actually a qualified yoga instructor. I'm a 200 EYT. I don't know what EYT stands for. I used to know. It's like something yoga trainer or something. Estimated hours, whatever it is. Anyway, I'm a 200 EYT in Vinyasa Flow, which is a type of yoga. And I did a 200-hour long course where I memorized all the different poses, all the different lines, and how to work with the human body. And what's amazing about this is the minute I qualified, I had girls throwing themselves at me. They're like, teach me yoga. I get back pains. How can you help me? And there's all these women coming straight to me, and I was like literally in charge of them. Somebody said that of the people you trust in the world, one of the highest, most trusted people, it's like doctors, and then just below doctors is like religious leaders, or just above them, one of the two is, and then yoga instructors. It's like up there. It's like people like really trust their They're religious leaders, they're doctors, teachers, and yoga instructors. They're like all the top. And that's why there's natural attraction to those kind of people. So becoming a yoga instructor did me wonders, but it was a very expensive course. I spent thousands of dollars, like $4,000 a month or something for X amount of months until I racked up the 200 hours. It's very expensive, but it was worth it just because I learned a lot about yoga, I learned a lot about my body. I was a complete beginner, I knew nothing about yoga when I first started. But more importantly, since then, yoga girls love me, like love me. I can go into any Lululemon in the world and pick up any girl by just wandering around. They go, hi, do you need any help? And I'm like, not really, I'm just looking for something that, so something comfortable that I can do in my practice. I'm like, oh, have you just started yoga? I'm like, no, I'm actually an instructor. And they're like, oh my God. And then like, they love you because that's who they like adore. And so the staff just like throw themselves at you. So it's very easy at this point. But there's something else that you can do. If you don't want to be a yoga instructor, there's an easier thing that you can do. Are we getting any answers from it? I'm just curious if the high school kid came back actually.
Oh, wait. No, but they're all saying, don't say the word bomb. It's not cool.
Don't say bomb? Oh, that's good to know. What's cool? If I want to throw what party, what do I say? Like, if you want to throw the dopest party, I don't know, the dog's shit, I don't know, what do you say? That's what we'd say in the UK. It would be like, dude, this party was the dog's nuts would actually be what we say. But I'm so uncool now. Damn it. This is so, I just don't know how to attract teenagers anymore, which I suppose is a good thing. You just laugh with the other, well, I'm in my 30s, but like the late 20-year-olds, I can laugh at how they don't know what's cool anymore. Anyway, the point being, if you get good at one thing, especially when it's something about health or psychology, you're going to get women that want to come to you because they want to learn things from you, right? So when it comes down to things like psychology, women love talking to me because they want to learn about themselves. And anytime you can be an expert about somebody else, you're attractive, right? Just think about this. I know more about you than you do, so therefore you have to ask me about yourself. So you're basically giving away the control of your own decision-making to someone else. And before you think that humans don't like doing that, humans love doing that. Think about it. Our entire society is built on the fact that we trust somebody else to make our decisions. How many times a day do you think, oh my God, I just wish somebody else would do this for me? Human beings think this all the time. We love it when somebody else takes responsibility so we don't have to deal with it. So when you're saying you're going to take responsibility for them, for their well-being, and more importantly, you're going to help them get better, they love it. So if I'm like, look, let me tell you exactly what to do to get rid of your back pain. Oh yes, okay, please, yes, I'd love that. So, or, let me explain to you why the last 3 guys broke up with you. Oh my God, yeah, I'd love that. They love that stuff. So anytime you can become an expert about somebody else, that's when you're attractive. And a very easy way to do that is just to get good at health and nutrition. I know so many people that have questions about like diet and health and fitness. Think about it. How many people do you know that want to know how to get a better body or to be healthier or what should they be eating or not be eating or dietary plans or how to work out? Becoming an expert in fitness is such an easy thing to do. And I've got a video for you to get you started if you've never done it before, where you can just look into it. There's a link beneath this video, right? Is there a link? There should be a link that they can click on beneath this video. Do me a favor, guys, just let me know if the link's there. But there should be a link that my buddy put there before he went on vacation. So there's a chance it isn't there. It is there?
Yeah, badass. Or is it like, what is it?
Yeah, it's like that. It should go through to my buddy.
Yeah, it's like Badass Prom, Ask a Hottie.
Yeah. Ask a Hottie. No, I don't think that's the right one. It might be. I don't know. Click on the link and find out because this is what happens over the vacation break. But one of my really good buddies, he has a program where he breaks down health and fitness and he talks about the best ways. Actually, could you do that now? Could somebody click on it and just let me know that goes through to a specific video that talks about the best way to get a six-pack ab. It's a really good friend of mine. He runs an entire program where they teach you how to be healthy and they teach you how to be fit. But what's cool about it is they're all about hacking, right? So they're all about like hacking your body, doing lots of little tricks to make sure that you get fit. I worked with these guys and I managed to lose like 30 pounds within like 12 weeks. It was insane. 14 weeks actually. It was insane the amount of weight I lost in the amount of time. So they're really knowledgeable. And now I use that information. I talk to girls and I'll always be talking about fitness and health and what have you. And one of the girls will ask me, they'll be like, oh, how did you know this? And then I'll explain to them like my buddy taught me, and then I start teaching them. And at that point I'm attractive because I sound like I'm excellent at something. What's cool about this is you can experience and experiment with this and do it over and over and over again until you become an absolute expert in it, and then people are going to be throwing themselves at you because that's the thing that you're excellent at. You're excellent about health, which means you're attractive because you're excellent about your own health, and more importantly, you can tell them what they need to do to be excellent about theirs. Is it working? Did that?
The video is a little-known secret that makes you irresistible to the opposite sex.
There you go. That is the wrong link. Guys, I feel terribly sorry. Here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that gets fixed for those of you guys that haven't seen it. This is what happens when people go on vacation break. So I have to have a word with my staff. I'm really sorry about that, but I'll make sure we get you that link and we'll send it in an email. So for those of you guys that are watching this, feel free to learn how to be irresistible to hotties in the meantime. But I do want to make sure I get you that video because it's a breakdown of like the best ways to A, get a six pack and B, be a lot more attractive. So we'll make sure we put that in the email link. So watch for an email turning up in your inbox. Cool. I mean, that's probably about it from me today. It's very simple, just talking about the importance of being excellent. And remember, if you were excellent at something, then you were a 10 at something. And if you're a 10 at something, that's good enough to get any 10 because they are only excellent at one thing. You know, she might be very, very beautiful, but she might be terrible with finances, or she might be bad at math, or she might be bad at, I don't know, being healthy maybe. You never know. So become excellent at something and ideally make that something that women want to learn about themselves, where you can be excellent over them. And that's where you put yourself on the pedestal. And that's what makes you more attractive. Cool. Let's take 3 questions if anybody's got 3 questions. If not, then we'll clock out. And I just want you guys to have a wonderful new year in 2016. I've got some big stuff planned for next year for you guys. So I'm excited about it.
So while we're waiting for questions, they said that basically when you're a teenager, you just say fucking every other word.
You just say, when you're a teenager, you just say fucking every other word. Oh my God, I love this. This is so awesome. Cool, so just throw a fucking party. And at the fucking party, just do fucking, and you'll be fine. Boom, got it. I'm now hip.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Looks like I don't see any other questions.
Perfect, and maybe someone's put some at the bottom. If not, then we'll check out. And thank you guys. I appreciate you being here. I know it's like the holiday break, but that's awesome. Question?
Could you give a random scenario example?
Can I give a random scenario example? Sure. How about you guys give me the random scenario? So why don't you, actually that would probably be pretty difficult, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Would it be very difficult? It'd probably take a minute for it to come back and throw. All right, I'll give you guys an example. So I want you to imagine that, oh, Stephen, you can create it. Why not? It's easier if somebody else creates it. That way it doesn't look like I'm just picking the perfect scenario.
Sure.
So go for it.
For exactly what?
Give me a place and a girl. Kind of girl that I meet somewhere. Or just a place. Like, where would I meet a girl?
Okay, you're going to meet a girl at a grocery store.
I meet a girl in a grocery store. Okay, perfect. So let's just say I meet a girl at this is so easy. Meet a girl in a grocery store, and you know, ideally somewhere. You know, typically I go to Whole Foods, so it's going to be like a health store. And then when she's buying something, I could use any typical opener that I want. So I suppose like kind of opener that I'm typically using nowadays is observational. So I'm going to move and I'll be like, hey, couldn't help but notice that you've got no carbs in your basket. I've got to know, or I'm going to be thinking about it all day. Is that a conscious choice, or are you one of those weird people that just naturally only enjoys healthy food? So it'd be like kind of open. It's nice. It's open-ended, and then she'll be like, no, it's a conscious choice. You know, I'm trying to be healthy nowadays. I love that. You know what? It's funny. Really good friend of mine the other day. I say the other day, it's like 6 months ago. Got me on this like super clean, healthy eating program. I couldn't believe it. I lost 30 pounds in X amount of time. Put on a ton of muscle, and actually ended up doing an open fighting tournament in Montreal where I placed 5th. Based on all this. So you see what I've done there? I've just thrown in another excellence. So I'm like, look, I'm excellent at health. Also, I placed 5th in this huge tournament of 3,000 people. None of this is a lie. It's all completely true. So that generates interest. And then she'll go, oh my God, that's amazing. What did you do? And then I've got the interest. At this point, I get to just start telling her things that I did, things that she can do, and I'm coming across as excellent. And then all I've got to do is make sure I say at some point, hey, you know what? I mean, if you want, look, you know, I know we only just met each other, but I'd be more than happy to sit down and give you a breakdown of a plan. Take me like 5 minutes. It's something I actually really enjoy doing. Maybe we can just grab a coffee after this and I'll sit down and take you through it. Typically she'll be like, yeah, or she'll be like, maybe sometime in the future. Perfect, boom. Set up a time, meet up, sit down. And then when I'm there, it's very important that I give her that plan, but also I then shift onto attraction techniques. So all the other stuff that you learn from us here, for the emails that we send from the other videos, you start putting all the other stuff into practice as well. Find reasons to hang out, find reasons to meet up. And then of course, while you're there, make sure you're doing sexual escalation and boom, you are ready. Any other questions?
Yeah, a few.
Cool, let's do 2 more.
What's an easy way to get a New Year's kiss?
Easy way to get a New Year's kiss. This is a good one. I find the easiest way to get a New Year's kiss isn't to wait till midnight. A lot of guys wait till midnight and then run around looking for a girl. It's the worst thing to do. Best thing to do is to start picking somebody up right at the very beginning. And there's lots of ways of doing it. Honestly, I would probably go with the idea that I'm not trying to look for somebody for a New Year's kiss. And instead, I'd make it all about just like having fun. I'd be using breaking rapport techniques, using a lot of like things to make them laugh, to show them some fun. Did I Is my phone still making noise? I'd be using break and rapport techniques to make them laugh. I'd be using banter. Things like, I did a whole sequence on this recently, but kind of stuff like I give them riddles and puzzles to solve and just make it fun and interesting. And then I'd probably at some point sit down and ask them their ambitions for 2016, what they wanted to achieve, and have them go for it. And then I say, hey, you know what's really awkward? And she'd be like, what? I say, what's really awkward is if you wait until midnight and then at midnight, some really ugly person runs up to you and tries to kiss you. Like, I don't want to be rude. Like, then I wonder if I should give them a pity kiss. Like, should I make out with them at midnight just because they want to? It's always difficult. I feel like, like that's like a really tough situation. And then you sort of like do the kiss, like you kiss them on the cheek, but then you feel bad because now their entire year's going to be ruined. I don't know. How do you feel about this? And just open up that conversation in that way. At this point, she should kind of be laughing and she'd be like, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. You go, look, okay, how about we make a pact? And she's like, what? You go, if it gets to midnight and it looks like everybody around us is kissing and we haven't found anyone that we like to kiss, then you and I can just kiss each other on the cheek and that way we know we can be fine. So you make this pact and you get this agreement, and this is called the foot in the door technique, where you make this agreement that the two of you are going to kiss each other on the cheek and then everything's going to be fine. And then what happens is that way, when you get to midnight, if you keep talking to her and you keep escalating at that point, by midnight it should just be a real makeout. And if not, you've got at least a kiss, which is the first step of escalation, and then you can keep trying to make out with her afterwards, right? You don't have to get the kiss at midnight. You can always make that happen afterwards. So yeah, that's kind of probably the technique I would use. Let's do one more question.
Best way to pick up a clothing store employee?
Best way to pick up a clothing store employee. This is pretty easy. Go into a clothing store and be bored. I love this one. I wander around a store and I'm just bored. And girl's like, hi, can I help you? I'm like, no, I'm just being bored. And she's like, what do you mean being bored? I'm like, I'm just being bored. Honestly, I was just killing time. It's cold outside and or hot outside. So, I don't want to be hanging outside, but I'm just like bored out my brain. So I'm just killing time. And she's like, oh, okay. And at that point, every clothing store employee in the world can build rapport with you because they're all bored, because they hate their job. And so they're bored and you're bored and now you've got rapport. And then you can be like, what do you do for fun when you're not being really bored in this store? And then they'll start listing all their hobbies and the things they like doing. And that gives you all the things in the world that you can build commonalities on. You find something in common, and you go, oh my God, I love doing that. Wait, you go to the same bar as me? Dude, next time we go, we should totally just do a round. Boom, you've got a place, a meet up, you swap phone numbers to meet up at the bar, then you meet in the bar, and then you pick up as normal. Cool.
There's a couple more if you want to do them.
Sure, let's do a couple more, why not?
How do you have sex with a girl at her house?
How do you have sex with a girl in her house? This is an interesting question. You put your penis in a vagina. It's like there's no objection. You know what I mean? It's like, you just do it. Like, I don't know where the problem lies within that question.
At her house.
Yeah, but what, instead of your house? Is that the implication? Okay, how do you have sex with a girl at her house instead of yours? You just gotta have a reason to be in her house when you escalate, right? That's literally you need. So for me, typically, I'll be like, hey, do you want to do Netflix and chill or what have you? And she'll be like, yeah. And then you go, look, I don't have a Netflix account. Do you have Netflix at yours? I'll be like, yeah. You go, cool. Let's watch Netflix at yours and I'll bring food. That works really, really well. Whether you have a Netflix account or not, just don't have one. It's easy. Cool.
How do you get working girls or girls at parties, models at parties?
How do you get working girls? Hired guns, I think, is what they're probably looking for. Like, how do you get girls that work at parties, like models at parties? Again, if you want to attract anyone at a party, it's all about connecting with, who works. It's all about connecting with the real person. They've got like a front, which is what they're being paid to put on. You're never going to attract the front. You have to attract the real girl. So the front is this, hi, I'm this beautiful model. I'm here to socialize and smile. And the real girl is a struggling single mom who's, just trying to get by and enjoys doing this instead of whatever her other job is. So you just got to find the real connection with the real person. And the easiest way to do that, funny enough, is television. Television and movies. Right now, talking about Star Wars will work. You're like, hey, I got to know something. Are you somebody that likes Star Wars, or are you a really boring person? Something like that's going to work really well, and then you can connect with them, hopefully on something they really care about, that you really care about, and then once you make that connection, you're not talking to the front, you're talking to the real girl. And the minute you find the real girl, then suddenly everything's going to make it a lot easier. It's just like a regular pickup then. You don't have to worry about trying to do it. Cool, let's do one more.
Okay.
If there is one more.
There is. So if this guy's working at a fancy hotel and there's a hot chick and he wants to know, what's the best way to get her?
If the guy's working at a hotel and there's a hot chick, honestly, man, as a waiter, honestly, dude, don't cross the line, man. Don't mix work and pleasure. It's really dangerous. Like, unless you don't care about losing your job. But I know too many stories of guys that are like, well, I was talking to this girl at work and I got fired. It's just not worth it. If you really have to, if it's like, got to do this, then the only thing you can do is find a reason to meet up with them outside of it. I picked up a girl that worked at a hotel once, and literally the way we did it is we asked her if she knew any cool parties. And she's like, me and my friends are going to go to XYZ party afterwards. And we're like, great, we'll meet you there. And then we got their phone number, we met them there. At that point, it was very easy. So yeah, anything along those kind of lines is going to work, but you need to have a reason to meet them outside of work. Cool. Another question? You're laughing at it. Let's go for it.
So this one's pretty much just a similar question. I work at a hardware store near the beach, and attractive girls are always coming in with their parents. Is there any way of getting them interested without being totally unprofessional?
A hardware store near the beach. Is there any way to attract girls when they own with their parents? Yeah, again, same thing. Just find a reason to bounce off. Near the beach is like a great quality. One of the things is like, I would definitely like ask the parents. I'd be like, hey, do you guys surf? It's so good. Asking parents a question that's aimed at younger people is amazing. Like, do you two surf? And they'll be like, no, we don't, but our daughter does. And it's like, boom, oh my God, she does? And you go, you should totally come. We have this group in the morning. We meet up at like 6 o'clock. It's beautiful waves. You should come down. Or, oh my God, we don't, but our daughter's thought about it. Oh, you should come. We do these intro classes. Anything like that. Just find a reason to meet them outside, and then everything's going to be great. Cool. Guys, thank you ever so much. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed doing it. Do us a favor. Watch out for the email that comes with the correct link that's going to take you through all the health stuff. And that's going to work out really well for you. You just click on the link and just watch the video. It's amazing. You'll learn a lot from it, and then it can be the first step towards getting excellent and also having an incredible body. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I will see you next time.